I am very happy to see that many Asian countries are actually leading the transition to renewable energy. In South Korea alone, they have two amazing solar projects. One is the flower solar panel. The solar panels are actually shaped like flowers, and it floats on the Hapcheon Dam Reservoir. And it was actually the residents of Hapcheon who requested that it be shaped like a flower so that it's not an eyesore. And it generates 41 megawatts in power, which is enough to supply the energy need of the entire province. Even better is that the residents were actually given the opportunity to invest in the project. So they're not just benefiting from the actual renewable energy, they're also benefiting from whatever earnings they will get from that. So that, I think, is just it's aesthetically pleasing, and it does the job. So it supplies the energy requirement of the entire province. The other is the bike highway. So it runs between Daejeon and Sejong in South Korea, and it is 20 miles long, which is about 30 plus 32, I don't know, something like that in kilometers. So it is the roof. So in the middle of the highway, there's a lane, and the roof is actually solar panel. And then below that, then that's where bikers can actually bike to go to wherever they want to go. So there are some criticisms because they feel like, why would you put that in the middle of the highway where cyclists will just inhale all the South Korea has a problem with their air quality. So there are times when it's really bad that they actually always have to wear a mask, and you're going to triple the risk when you ask bikers to actually use that. But I'm pretty sure that eventually they'll be able to figure out something to deal with the problem. But the mere fact that they're there doing it, I think is just great enough. It's actually not an original one. It's not an original concept. There's one in Netherlands. But in Netherlands, instead of the roof, the bikers actually bike on the solar panel. So that becomes their road. But anyway, great concept. South Korea they also came up with a recycling program. So all discarded solar panels, if you don't know, it actually corrodes. So after some time, you do need to replace your solar panel. But because solar panels are made of silver, copper, glass, aluminum, they shred it into pieces and then take it apart. They take it apart and then they use the materials that they can. They recycle them. So I think that's in itself is a great idea. I hope, especially the bike highway, this is something that we can use in the Philippines. A major highway in the Philippines is called EDSA. It stands for Epifanio de los Santos Avenue. So, but it's a busy highway because it connects many commercial areas. So there is a train track there. It's called the LRT. But I've heard, I haven't been home in a while. I'll be home in several weeks. But I heard that it takes you hours to get into a train. So it sort of defeats the purpose because you're supposed to use the train because it cuts your travel time. But if you're queuing up for hours and hours, then that's pretty useless. But if you put this together, if we construct a highway for bikers on the side or in the middle, maybe on the side is better, then you're going to solve a lot of problems. A lot of people are going to resort to actually just biking instead of, queuing up for hours just to get into a train. But the only problem that you need to contend with in the Philippines is the weather because it's so hot and the pollution. So if you bike your way to work, you'll probably end up already sweaty and smelly by the time that you get to work. And you don't want that, of course. The solution is to actually air condition that part. So close it up and air condition that. And then you can use the energy that the solar panels on the roof are generating to supply the energy requirements of the air conditioning. If for as long as it is well maintained, then you wouldn't have any problem. I personally would prefer to do that. I will just bike to work rather than paying this hefty gas fare. In the US, it's now like $6 per gallon. I'm talking about gas. So the traffic's not that bad, but then you drive everywhere to wherever you need to go, and you need to pay like $7 per gallon. So that's just crazy, in my opinion. If this becomes like a friendlier place for bikers, I will just bike to work. So it's the same thing for the Philippines. I'm sure there's a lot of people who people that would prefer biking to work rather than queuing up for hours in LRT, or in queuing up for hours to get to ride the train, or pay whatever fare that they need to pay with buses, or pay this ridiculous amount for gas. So I hope we take inspiration from what South Korea is doing, and then next time I'll discuss what Japan is doing.